System Hacking and Steganography. Alright, strap in everyone. Today we're diving deep into the world of cybersecurity. First, subscribe and share Cyber Nomad channel for more hacking-related videos.
Ooh, sounds exciting.
It is, trust me, we're going to be looking at system hacking.
System hacking. Yeah, and this crazy thing called steganography. You ever heard of it?
Steganography rings a bell, but refresh my memory.
You'll be amazed, our source material is CHM6, system hacking.
Oh, classic. That one's packed with info.
Yeah, it's a bit dense to be honest, but that's what we're here for, right?
Absolutely. Break it down, make it digestible and fun.
Fun, definitely. But let's start with the basics. What exactly is system hacking? Why is it such a big deal in cybersecurity these days?
Yeah, good questions. What are we even talking about here?
So system hacking is basically when someone exploits vulnerabilities, weaknesses in a system.
Exactly. And electronic systems could be computers, networks, that kind of thing.
So they're basically breaking in.
Yeah, you can think of it like that.
Yeah, except instead of stealing physical stuff, you're after data. Or they might try to mess with how the system works, cause disruptions, even plant malware.
Malware, that's nasty stuff, like a digital virus.
Exactly. And the intentions behind this kind of hacking are almost always malicious.
So we're not talking about ethical hackers here.
No, this is the real deal. Think data theft, financial fraud, even sabotage.
Wow, that's scary. It makes it feel a lot more real.
It is real. It impacts all of us online.
Okay, so how do they actually do it? I mean, how do these hackers actually get in?
It's probably more common than you think, and it's constantly evolving. But some of the most common ways are phishing.
Phishing, like those scam emails?
Exactly. Those emails or messages, trying to trick you into giving up your passwords or personal info.
Tricky.
Then there's social engineering, which was basically manipulating people, playing on their emotions or trust to get them to reveal sensitive information. And then there's the more technical stuff like password cracking, exploiting software vulnerabilities, or sometimes even just getting physical access to systems if they can get their hands on your device.
That password cracking thing, that always worries me. We use passwords for everything these days.
And people often use weak passwords or reuse the same ones.
Oh yeah, I've been guilty of that.
It's a common mistake, so password cracking is a whole field in itself. Hackers have tons of tricks, more than just guessing password. 1, 2, 3.
Way more sophisticated than that. They use things like dictionary attacks where they try common words and phrases.
That makes sense. Cover the basics.
And then there's brute force attacks trying every possible combination of characters.
Wow, that sounds like it would take forever.
It can, but with powerful computers it's not impossible. And with stolen password databases from data breaches, they have a head start.
So even a strong password isn't a guarantee.
A strong and unique password is your first line of defense. Absolutely. Use a password manager.
I can't stress that enough, folks.
Seriously. But there are even more sneaky attacks out there, like wire sniffing. It is. They basically intercept data as it travels across a network. S2, wire sniffing, that sounds intense. Exactly. Like listening in on your digital conversations. S2. So like eavesdropping on your internet traffic. And then there are offline attacks where they work with stolen data from data breaches. You might not even know your info was part of a breach. S2. Media group, concerned person. Reading about data breaches on a laptop, cybersecurity expert explaining breach consequences, stock to distribute equally, yikes.
That's a scary thought. Now the source material mentions something called a manipulator in the middle attack. Oh, that's a whole new level. S1, so in a man in the middle, the attacker is kind of like a silent observer listening in on a conversation. But with the manipulator in the middle, they're not just listening, they're actively messing with the data. S2. Media group, cybersecurity expert describing data manipulation, hacker actively changing data on a computer, e-stock, I distribute equally. It sounds even worse than the regular man-in-the-middle attack. What's the difference? S1, media group, expert discussing severe cybersecurity threats, concerned person reacting to cybersecurity news, stock, I distribute equally. Oh yes, that one's nasty. If you're doing online banking, S1, they can change the conversation, inject false information, even alter transactions without anyone realizing it. I'm getting chills just thinking about it. S1, exactly. They could change the amount of money being sent or redirect it to a different account. They can actually manipulate things in real time. That's terrifying. Okay, we need to lighten things up a bit. Let's switch gears and talk about steganography. S1, media group. Expert explaining cybersecurity concepts, data breach visual representation, stock you distribute equally. It's a serious threat and it shows how data breaches can go beyond just stealing information.
Now that's some cool stuff.
It's like something out of a spy movie. Can you explain what it is?
Basically, it's the art of digital camouflage, hiding information in plain sight inside other data.
Hiding in plain sight.
Yep, it's different from encryption, which scrambles data to make it unreadable.
So encryption is putting a lock on a box.
And steganography is hiding the box itself.
Whoa, so you wouldn't even know there's something hidden.
Exactly, it's like hiding a needle in a haystack, but the haystack looks totally normal.
Okay, so you're telling me there could be secret information hidden in things I see online every day?
You could be looking right at it and have no clue.
And there are different ways to do it.
Oh, tons of ways. Images, audio files, text, videos, even network traffic. You name it, you could probably hide something in it.
That's incredible and a little unsettling, to be honest.
It's a powerful tool, and like any tool, it can be used for good or for bad, but it definitely highlights how sophisticated digital security has become.
Okay, I'm hooked. Tell me more about how all these different types of steganography actually work.
Alright, let's start with images. It's all about subtle manipulation.
But how do you hide something in an image? It's not like there's a secret compartment in a JPEG.
Right? You can't just stuff a message in there. It's more about tweaking things that are already there. Think of a digital image as a mosaic made of tiny little squares called pixels.
Okay, I can picture that.
Each pixel has a specific color. With steganography, you can change those colors ever so slightly.
But wouldn't that make the picture look different?
Not to the human eye, the changes are so small you wouldn't notice. But those tiny changes can be used to encode information.
Wow, sneaky. So my vacation photos online could have secret messages hidden in them.
It's possible. Someone with the right software could decode those hidden messages and you'd never know.
That's both amazing and kind of creepy. What about audio? How do you hide info in music?
It's similar to images, but instead of pixels, you're working with sound waves. Those peaks and valleys that represent the sound, you can make tiny alterations to those without changing how the music sounds to us.
So you could be listening to a song on Spotify and there could be a secret message hidden inside it.
You got it.
I'm officially mind blown. What about plain text? Can you really hide messages in emails and documents?
Absolutely. It's all about being creative with formatting and display. You can play with spaces between words or letters.
Wouldn't that be noticeable?
Not if it's done subtly, or you can insert invisible characters or use coding techniques that change the text in ways you wouldn't normally notice.
So, that email I got this morning that looked like a harmless newsletter could actually have a hidden message for someone else.
It's entirely possible. We tend to focus on the content of a message, not the tiny details of its formatting, and that's what steganography exploits.
That's wild. Okay, so we've covered images, audio, and text. What about videos? Can you hide things in movies?
Oh yeah, video steganography is a thing.
Yeah.
It's all about embedding data within the individual frames of the video.
So each frame is like a still image?
Exactly, and you can subtly change the colors or pixels in each frame or even the order of the frames without making the video look different.
I could be watching a YouTube video and have no idea there's secret data embedded in it.
It's more common than you might think. It's even used for things like digital watermarking to protect copyrighted content.
Oh, that makes sense. Like a secret signature. Okay, I have to ask about network steganography. That one seems really complex. How do you even hide information in network traffic?
This is where things get really technical.
Yeah.
It involves manipulating how data packets are transmitted across a network.
Data packets.
Yeah, they're like little containers that carry data over the internet. Hackers can change things like the timing of those packets, their size, or even slip data into unused parts of network protocol.
It sounds like they're basically speaking a secret language that only computers understand.
In a way, yes, and it's super hard to detect because network traffic is so constant and complex.
So hidden data can just blend in with all the noise.
And that's why it's often used for things like covert communication or hiding malware on a network.
That one's a little over my head, but it definitely sounds like something out of a spy movie.
It kind of is.
So we've got images, audio, text, video, network traffic. Is there anything else you can use steganography for?
One more file. This one involves manipulating the actual structure of a file or its metadata.
Metadata.
The information about the file, like the date it was created or the file type.
Got it. So you're hiding information in the file's packaging, not the content itself.
Exactly. You can hide data in the header of a document, in the metadata, or even in empty space within the file.
So a document could look completely normal, but secretly have a hidden message or malicious code.
That's the idea. And because a lot of security tools only scan the content of files, this can be a sneaky way to bypass them.
Wow, this is all mind-blowing. It really makes you realize how vulnerable we are in the digital world.
It's true, but the more we understand about these threats, the better equipped we are to protect ourselves.
So how do we do that? What can we actually do to protect ourselves from all this stuff?
Well, it starts with the basics. Strong passwords are absolutely essential, and I know you hear that all the time, but it's true.
It's like the foundation of digital security.
Exactly, and a good password manager can make your life so much easier.
I second that. But what about those other techniques like phishing and social engineering? How do you avoid falling for those tricks?
Awareness is key. Don't click on suspicious links or open attachments from senders you don't recognize. And if something seems too good to be true, it probably is. Always verify things directly with the source.
Good advice. Now when it comes to steganography, it seems like that's a lot harder to detect. What can everyday people do about that?
Steganography is definitely tricky. There are specialized tools that security professionals use, but for most people, it's about being aware that it exists and being cautious about the data you download and share.
So knowing is half the battle. If we understand that steganography is a possibility, we can be more careful.
Exactly, be extra careful about downloading files from sources you don't trust completely.
Because that innocent-looking file could actually be hiding something malicious.
It's possible, so strong passwords, watch out for phishing, be careful about downloads. What else can people do to boost their digital security?
Keep your software and operating systems up to date. Those updates often include security patches.
Those update notifications can be annoying, but they're important.
They really are. It's like a fire drill for your computer. A little inconvenient at the time, but could save you from a much bigger problem later.
This has been so eye-opening. It makes you realize security isn't a one-time thing. It's an ongoing process. What's the biggest takeaway for people as technology keeps changing?
Stay informed and adapt. The threat landscape is constantly evolving.
So it's about continuous learning, basically. How can people stay up to date on the latest threats and best practices?
There are tons of resources online, security blogs, podcasts, newsletters from reputable organizations. You could even follow security experts on social media.
And if you're ever unsure about something, don't hesitate to ask for help.
Absolutely. Lots of tech support resources out there. And most security software companies have great customer support teams.
All right, I think we've covered a lot of ground today. We've talked about system hacking, steganography, and even some practical tips for staying safe online.
It's been a great discussion. Hopefully people feel a little more empowered to take control of their online security.
Absolutely. Knowledge is power, and the more we understand about these threats, the better we can protect ourselves.
Couldn't agree more. A huge thank you to our listeners for joining us on this deep dive. We hope you found it informative, engaging, and maybe even a little bit inspiring to level up your own cybersecurity game. Stay curious, stay vigilant, and we'll catch you on our next deep dive.
Remember, stay curious, stay vigilant, and share and subscribe Cyber Nomad channel for more hacking-related videos. We'll catch you on our next deep dive.